What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here with the full UFC 308 Topuria versus Holloway predictions. Every single fight on the card, I'm going to be giving you my true and honest prediction. As usual, if you're looking for timestamps, you want to hear me talk about a particular fight, scroll down a little bit, hit the subscribe button, scroll back up, watch the whole fucking video, bro. This ain't MMA Guru, bro. There is no fucking timestamps around here, kid. Watch the fucking video, yeah. Let's get into this, dude. First fight on the card, we got, goddamn, apparently Ibo Aislan versus Rafael Kirchieria. Now, this is a very good example of how I predict fights around here. A lot of other people, they like to go into the outside foot battle. They like to talk about, the hand fighting, just an excellent way to trap that lead hand. I don't really do that shit around here, man. I'm picking Ibo Aislan by decision. The other guy literally has no picture on Google, which means he's a complete jabron. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Ibo Aislan. I do know who he's fighting. This is an undefeated guy, Brazilian guy. He's a very, prolific finisher. He's a pretty hard fight, in my opinion, for Ibo Aislan. He was kind of having, a competitive fight against Anton Turkalj. Shout out to the Pleasure Man, the GOAT. I feel like this is going to be one of those fights where the prospect that everyone expects to win by KO wins by, boring decision. So I'm going to say Aislan wins this one by decision. I do think he's going to get this one done. I can definitely see this being a bit of both a pretty tentative, bit of a snooze fest, or he just sleeps this guy out cold. That's a real possibility too, but I'm going to say Ibo wins this one by decision, in my opinion. Let's move on. We got Rinat Fakhretdinov. Fuck this guy for beating Kevin Lee versus Carlos Leal. I almost wanted to pick Carlos Leal, but, I got to follow the rules around here. I'm picking Rinat Fakhretdinov to win this fight, and I believe that this is going to be a decision as well. I've said this already in my bingo card predictions. Go watch that if you haven't seen it. I think these prelims are going to be boring as fuck. These are on at midnight for me. I'm probably not going to be watching these, bro. We will not be there. I am not trying to watch these prelims, dog. But I do think Rinat Fakhretdinov is very talented. He beat Brian Battle. Obviously, he beat the GOAT Kevin Lee. Had a very competitive fight with Nicholas Dalby, but he is a high-level grappler. He does have weird power on the feet as well, and I feel like because this is short notice for Leal, he's going to be overthinking the matchup a little bit, especially in terms of the striking of Fakhretdinov being something that he can use. He does have good power. He's dropped most of his opponents. I feel like he can feint level changes, land big shots, get easy takedowns to win the fight late. I'm going to say Rinat Fakhretdinov wins a pretty boring decision after dropping this guy early on. Classic Fakhretdinov stuff. I think if he fights somebody top ranked, he'll probably lose, but I don't think a short notice opponent's going to be the guy to do it. Let's move on. We got Ismail Nurdaev versus Bruno Silva. Now, Ismail Nurdaev is the favorite in this matchup. I believe he's coming in short notice to the UFC. He's 1-2 in his last 3. And I know that Bruno Silva's 0-3 in his last 3, but he's lost to Chris Weidman, UFC champion, Shara Bullet, future UFC champion, GM3, future UFC champion, and of course, Brendan Allen, future middleweight GOAT. No, seriously. All jokes aside, though, I'm going to pick Bruno Silva by KO. This guy got finished, like I said, 2 fights ago, back-to-back, and I feel like Bruno Silva has only lost to good competition. He KO'd Brad Tavares. That's a pretty good win when you consider that Jung Young Park's going to a decision with this guy. Gregory Rodriguez was going pretty competitive with him as well. Bruno Silva finished him in the first round. I think he put him out fucking bad. Yeah, I feel like Bruno Silva is a very underrated middleweight, and he's a very, very explosive finisher. He has 20 KOs in his career. His finishing rate is extremely high, and if you're fighting somebody that's coming into the UFC, that's not exactly the level of the UFC competition that has been finished recently, I think Bruno Silva is going to get a KO in this fight. Probably round 2, maybe round 3. I'm going to say Bruno Silva gets this one done by KO. If it goes to a decision, he'll probably lose. I'm going to be real. He has really bad luck, but I'm going to say Bruno Silva wins this one by KO. Moving on, we got Farid Basharat. What a prospect this guy is, man, versus Victor Hugo. Very shiny head on this gentleman right here. I'm going to pick Farid Basharat to win this by decision. I don't really care about this matchup. Farid Basharat is an undefeated prospect, representing a certain region of the world. We're in Abu Dhabi. He's fighting an old bantamweight who's in his 30s that hasn't beat anybody that good. I think Farid Basharat's going to win this one. So let's go with Farid Basharat by decision. Moving on, we got a sick fucking fight here, boys. We got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. Now, I love Chris Barnett. You love Chris Barnett. We all love Chris Barnett. I'm going to be picking Kennedy Nzechukwu to win this by decision. Chris Barnett has not fought in 2 years. I know there's been some circumstances surrounding that, but this is a guy that doesn't have very good cardio. Bit of a meme. Usually loses fights early on and then bounces back into them. No, I didn't mean like... He is very rotund. He probably does bounce if you drop. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about he has a good, like, weather the storm ability. But I don't think Kennedy Nzechukwu is really going to... I don't know. I just feel like Nzechukwu is going to be boring as fuck in this fight. And I think he's just going to grapple to a decision. I think he's going to, like, land some good shots at range and then just hold Barnett against the fence or fucking take him down and lay on him and mount. And I think this is going to be a snooze fest if Nzechukwu wins. If Barnett wins, it is via like a comeback TKO in round 3. Obviously, most people would say that is the 2 ways this fight goes. Either Nzechukwu just kind of, keeps him at range, does his thing, mixes up the grappling, or Barnett fucking KOs his head off in round 3. I'm going to say Nzechukwu wins this one by decision. Bounces back from losing to fucking OSP, which is just insane. Like, I feel like he's not so cooked that he's going to lose to Chris Barnett definitively. Like, even if he loses, he will have been winning the fight. But I just feel like at heavyweight, the skill gap is going to be very fucking obvious between OSP and Chris Barnett. I think that is going to be very evident in that matchup. So let's move on. The GOAT, Abus Magomedov. The title run starts here. I'm picking him to beat Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira, very dangerous. KO'd Gregory Rodriguez back in the day. Lost to fucking Nursultan Ruziboyev, though, by brutal KO. And I think Magomedov's actually really talented. Like, he was actually doing really well against Sean Strickland in their fight. Cal Baralho kind of had to smudge this guy to beat him. I think Abus Magomedov's a very dangerous fighter, and he's working on his cardio, it seems like, based on his last performance. I think he won by decision, if I remember correctly, mixing up the grappling a little bit. So he is making improvements. He is extremely dangerous. His front kicks to the body are really, really big factors in this matchup. Alongside the fact that he has a huge reach advantage, he is powerful. I think we're going to see a round 1 or round 2 TKO for Abus Magomedov in this matchup. I think he's actually pretty good. I think he's going to get this one done by KO. Let's move on. We got... This fight got canceled. I ain't going to talk about that shit. We got Mateusz Rebecki versus Miktabek Orubai. Couple of fucking good prospects going at it. I'm going to go Orubai here to win this one by decision. I'm going to say he's going to put on a 29-28 masterclass decision. Rebecki... He is a good grappler, but he's beating up kind of jobbers at lightweight, and he's going to a decision with them. I don't think he has the highest finishing potential, and I think that the way to beat Miktabek Orubai is to capitalize on his cardio, especially at 155, but you can't really say that's a path to victory for Rebecki, who just gassed out so hard in his last fight. I think it's not going to be as bad in this one because his output's going to be lower. He's going to be probably defending takedowns more than spamming them or looking for a finish out the gun, but I think Miktabek Orubai is well-rounded enough. He does have decent enough power. This guy's fought at welterweight. He's, what the fuck was I trying to say? Bullying Uros Medic at welterweight. And you saw against Elvis Brenner as well. He was able to hurt him on the feet, get takedowns. As soon as he gets his hands together, he's going to take you down. He is a very good control time type of grappler. I think Miktabek Orubai is going to win by decision. Probably win round 2 and round 3. Maybe gets a 10-8 late, but I don't think he's going to get a finish in this matchup. I'm going to say Miktabek Orubai. Masterclass 29-28, 29-27 incoming for the boy Miktabek Orubai. That's not me, by the way. Main event of the prelims. We got Jeff Neal. Don't bring out the whole prelims. We got Jeff Neal versus RDA. And why is this the type of fucking fight Jeff Neal would sell? Am I crazy? I could see this guy getting, like, just out-grappled by RDA and just laying on... Like, why is this the type of fight Jeff Neal would fucking sell? Because I just can't ignore the fact that he lost to Neil Magny by decision. But I will be picking Jeff Neal because I'm hoping that with the experience of doing well against much more dangerous matchups like Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Vicente Luque, like guys that are way more likely to finish you, and being able to, have good moments in those fights, KO Luque badly, right? Shavkat Rakhmonov badly. I just trust that Jeff Neal is going to be a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker in this matchup. He has very good takedown defense. That is one thing he has going for him. He's extremely hard to take down, and I feel like that's going to be RDA's main path to victory in this matchup is wrestling. or he's going to have to hurt him on the feet early on to get momentum. But the thing about this matchup, obviously, Jeff Neal's the better striker. He's the better boxer. He's got a nasty head kick. I can definitely see him rocking RDA, but not being able to finish him because RDA is super tough. It's just the thing, like, regardless of how this fight goes, RDA is really bad at handling momentum, right? If RDA is starting out a fight good and he's winning, he still can get hurt late. He can still lose a round, like a late round, or get finished late like he did against Rafael Fiziev, right? I just feel like RDA, even if it's not going well, he's not good at changing his game plan. We saw that against Vicente Luque. Against Gamrot, he really couldn't change things up. After he dropped him, he just had nothing else. He just got taken down over and over again. So I feel like RDA, even if he has success, I could see Jeff Neal kind of battling back into the fight, pressuring more, getting yelled at by his coach. That's one thing I love watching Jeff Neal fight, is his coach just fucking screaming his head off at him the entire time. But yeah, if Jeff Neal doesn't sell, I think he wins this one by like 30-27 decision. Maybe like a round 3 TKO up against the fence where RDA just kind of gets saved from himself. But yeah, I'm going to say Jeff Neal wins that one. Let's move on to the main card, boys. So, wait, hold on. For my prelims, I got Jeff Neal. I got Orobai. If Nurmagomedov gets a short-nosed opponent, I'm going to pick Nurmagomedov. I've got Magomedov, Nzechukwu, Basharat, Silva, Fakhretdinov, and Aceland, whatever the fuck this guy's name is. Let's move on to the main card, boys. Now, I will be watching this. It's at 4 in the morning. Oh, my fucking God. Now, okay. No, you know what? I will show up and watch some of this. We got Shara Bullet versus Armen Petrosyan opening up the main card. This is a very exciting matchup. I'm going to be picking Shara Bullet to win this by decision. I feel like this is definitely, in terms of the combination of like durability, but also being able to strike with Shara Bullet, this is one of the hardest matchups that Shara Bullet's had in the UFC. I would say Bruno Silva was a pretty scary debut as well, and he did quite good in that matchup. That's why I'm picking him. Because he is a very, very elite striker. Like, he has great Muay Thai. He's awesome to watch. His aggression off the bottom, even when he gets taken down, is very good. He's very hard to just hold down and he can't do anything. Like, he can still cause damage off his back. And I feel like Shara Bullet is the type of fighter that other fighters change how they fight to try and beat him. Armen Petrosyan's like primarily a striker based on from what I've seen of him. And I feel like in this matchup, if he's trying to wrestle the whole time, it's not going to be as effective as if he was just trying to strike. So I feel like Shara Bullet is going to be a lot more comfortable, a lot more natural. He's in his fucking natural habitat as well. This guy's literally like locked to the lobby of fucking UFC Etihad Arena in UFC 5. You literally can't play as this dude in any other fucking venue. So I think he's going to have home field advantage on some college football 25 type shit. I think Shara Bullet's going to win a decision. Hurts Armen Petrosyan, maybe gets taken down a couple of times. People complain that maybe it was a robbery. I can see this being a close fight, but I think Shara Bullet's going to cause more damage, be a lot more effective in the striking. I'm going to say Shara Bullet wins this one. 29-28, maybe 30-27. People complain about it. Light heavyweight bout, the GOAT. Listen, brother, Magomed Ankalaev, brother. This is the GOAT of the UFC light heavyweight divisions, brother. Hey, let's go. Dude, that's my biggest regret with the Pereira meetup. Obviously, you guys know about the Pereira meetup lore, but what you don't know is there was a Q&A section, and I really wanted to storm the Q&A section and either, like, confuse him. Like, me and my bro, we were going to go up and, like, he would go up in a South African accent. Mate, why haven't you fought Magomed Ankalaev, mate? You need to be fighting Ankalaev, bro. He's going to fucking chin you, right? And then I would have came up right after. Brother, you need to fight Rodriguez du Plessis, brother. This is big fight for you in light heavyweights divisions, brother. I just think that would have been funny to piss him off. But tangent aside, this is a really... this is the type of fight that I feel like a lot of people would overthink. Like, this is one that I was overthinking for a while, but you know what? I'm just gonna trust my, like, not even my gut. Like, I'm just gonna not overthink it. I'm gonna pick Magomed Ankalaev to win this fight. He's just more dangerous everywhere. Like, he has more power than Rakic. He's a better grappler than Rakic. He's fought, like, more consistent. Like, Rakic missed out on 2 years or a year and a half from the injury to Jan Blachowicz. And you could say what you want about Magomed Ankalaev against Blachowicz. He, you know, like, he had moments where it looked like he was going to finish that fight. And, like, you could make an argument that he won that fight or that the draw is very warranted, right? Like, there's no real, like, oh, he lost to Jan Blachowicz. I don't think that's true. And, you know, people like to shit on Johnny Walker, even though Magomed Ankalaev completely fucking smoked him in their second fight and proved that he's better, right? So I don't really know what else he was supposed to do in that matchup. I think the leg kicks will be a factor here for Rakic. He does have decent grappling, but I just don't think he has finishing abilities at all. And I feel like eventually Magomed Ankalaev is going to be able to land good shots, hurt him on the feet, mix up takedowns, especially countering the leg kicks of Rakic. Because, like I said, he's not a finisher. And we saw that against Yuri Prohaska, that eventually they found his chin and they hurt him. And if it comes down to who hits harder, who's more patient, like, I think Ankalaev is going to be patient enough to not get finished by Rakic and find a good shot and hurt him. And I think we're going to see a round 2 or 3 ground and pound TKO for Magomed Ankalaev. I think Rakic will do very good in this fight to start off. I think round 1, Rakic is going to win with like some calf kicks, maybe stuffs a takedown really well, lands a good couple of shots on Ankalaev, and people are kind of able to... I think this is the way that I picture the script of this fight going is Rakic wins round 1, Ankalaev finishes him late with ground and pound. He has the type of finish that people can point to and go, bro, you have to give this guy a title shot. But I also see there being moments where people are like, dude, Pereira fucking destroys Ankalaev, bro. You know what I mean? That's the type of fight that I'm picturing. It'll be kind of back and forth, and then I think Ankalaev's going to finish him at the end of the fight. Late round 2, round 3 with ground and pound. I can just see elbows from top half guard, and Rakic is just kind of done after a back and forth fight, and he just kind of covers up and the ref stops it. I'm going to say Ankalaev wins by TKO. Let's move on to the featured fight of this fucking card. Lerone Murphy, bruh. Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige. Lerone Murphy's going to win by decision. He's going to win by a point-fest bot decision because Dan Ige literally only beats the jobbers at featherweight. And Lerone Murphy's not a jobber. He just beat up Edson Barboza, who arguably beat Dan Ige. I like Dan Ige. He is well-rounded. He's very hard to finish. He is tough. He does have power, does have good grappling, but he is just a fucking, like, career mode number 12 ranked NPC that you're supposed to beat on your path to the title. And unless you're, like, a jobber at featherweight, like, if you're Damon Jackson, Andre Fili, I think he would have beat, like, I don't know, like Alexander Hernandez at 145. Like, all these guys that will never be ranked at 145, Dan Ige fucking KOs them and keeps them out of the rankings. But Lerone Murphy's already ranked. He is good. He's well-rounded. I think it's going to be a very boring fucking fight. I will say that. I think, like, Shara versus Petrosian gives me the vibe it's going to be boring. Ankalaev Rakic, I think that could be entertaining, maybe. I'm thinking there'll be a finish at least, even if it's like kind of a competitive back and forth fight and it's a little bit boring at some points. I think this is going to kill the card like to a fucking halt, bro. I think Lerone Murphy's just going to piece this dude up at range and it's going to feel like 20 minutes for a 3-rounder fight. I think Lerone Murphy's going to win like 30-27. Maybe Dan Ige does something cool at the end of the fight, but yeah, Dan Ige beats up jobbers. Lerone Murphy's not a jobber. He's going to win by decision. That's my pick. All right. Now, bro, let me fucking tell you about Robert Whittaker, bro. Robert Whittaker, man, I used to fucking train with Robert Whittaker, yeah? I'd fucking go down to the fucking gym. He'd come in, he'd hit you with the fucking right hand over the top, and he'd come back, and he'd fucking, oh my God, mate, he'd just lay it into you. He's gonna fucking smash Chimaev, bro. He's gonna absolutely... I'm picking fucking Chimaev, dude. I'm picking Chimaev. I'm not picking Robert Whittaker. I'm sorry, brother. I love Robert Whittaker. I'm sorry, it's just so funny because I know so many people in real life that are just like, bro, Whittaker's gonna fucking destroy Chimaev, bro. He KO'd this other Russian guy. He's gonna fucking KO Chimaev in round 1, bro. Dude, Chimaev's a pussy, bro. Like, that's literally what these fucking people talk like, dude. It's so funny, man. Yeah, I'm picking Khamzat Chimaev to win this one by TKO. I think Robert Whittaker's gonna be very hard to take down for Chimaev. But I feel like Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling is like plot armored. Like against Kamaru Usman, he shoots the worst takedowns of his entire career. Like no finesse to the entry. He doesn't get deep on the hips. He's literally shooting at the knees. He still gets them every time pretty much in that fight. Like he got takedowns all 3 rounds. And people point to the cardio of Khamzat Chimaev and they try and make this big point of like, oh my God, Whittaker's going to be TKOing this guy in round 3. He's going to be out on his feet from exhaustion. I don't believe that. I didn't see that against Usman. I didn't even see that against Burns. Like that pace against Burns was fucking insane, and he won round 3 and nearly finished Burns in round 3, right? And he completely ragdolled him when he wrestled him in round 1 of that fight, right? 10-8'd Kamaru Usman in the grappling. Like I don't care what notice that is always going to be impressive to me. When it comes to Robert Whittaker, you're talking about a guy that really doesn't have that much finishing potential, like, in this fight. I don't think Chimaev's going to be super scared on the feet to strike with Whittaker. I think he's going to be fine to just chase takedowns because it's not like he's going to get submitted. Like, who has Robert Whittaker submitted? I think Whittaker's skill points are all in defensive grappling. He's hard to take down. He's hard to hold down. He's hard to submit. But it is possible to take him down. It is possible to outmuscle him and push him around and put him on the back foot. And it also is possible for Chimaev to rock him. And I think that's going to happen in this fight because Robert Whittaker is a bit chinny, dude. He has good survival instincts when he's rocked. He's a good wrestler. I don't think Chimaev's going to be able to take him down at will. But I do think Chimaev's going to use the threat of the takedown to have moments where he outstrikes Robert Whittaker, where he's landing the jab, he's landing body kicks up the front, right? He's landing the right hand on the break. He's missing that hook, but then he's following up with the right hand. Chimaev kind of backs him up a little bit, right? Every time Chimaev fakes a level change, it's going to be a big reaction out of Robert Whittaker. And I think that's going to open up good strikes for him. When it comes to my prediction of the fight, I think that the threat of the takedown is going to make Robert Whittaker lower output. Like, Robert Whittaker's not going to be blitzing as much as he does against other opponents, obviously, because he doesn't want to get taken down. So I feel like the 1-2 head kick is not going to be as... he's not going to use it as much. You can't use that type of shit against a wrestler like Chimaev. So I feel like Robert Whittaker at first is just going to be jabbing, kicking at the legs really low, front kicking a little bit, feinting uppercuts a lot. Chimaev probably won't shoot right away either. I think Chimaev's going to be like flicking kicks to the body, throwing jabs. And I think eventually, like, if I have to picture how this fight's going to go, round one, they kind of feel each other out on the feet. Chimaev maybe lands a good jab, shoots on a takedown, puts Whittaker against the fence. Whittaker defends decently well against the takedown. I could see it being like a slow kind of like, okay, he got him down, but Whittaker's got an underhook already, or he's already getting back up. I think Whittaker's going to do a great job at getting back up when taken down in round one, but he's going to lose that first round. And then I think round two, Chimaev's going to be changing levels again, and he's going to hurt Robert Whittaker with a jab. Like, he's going to drop him with a power jab, follow him to the ground, end up on top, look for a DAS, because Whittaker does belly out when he's trying to get up from bottom. We saw that against Dricus du Plessis, and we also saw him slow down from heavy grappling in round one against Dricus du Plessis. So I do think that even if round one he defends well, he's going to look a little bit slower on the feet. He's going to be bouncing around to try and like get some energy back, and I think that Chimaev's going to be able to catch him in round two with a really hard jab, follow up, look for a submission. Whittaker defend, maybe like gets on a close attempt, but then gets out of it. The crowd kind of fucking roars about it. And then Chimaev starts looking for elbows and ground and pound and gets a TKO in round two. That's my prediction for the fight. I think Chimaev's going to win by TKO in round two. But it's a tough matchup for him. Like, Robert Whittaker in some ways is a harder fight than Kamaru Usman. But at the same time, I think there's holes in his game compared to Usman that just make me worried that he's not going to be as much of a threat as Usman. Like, he did slow down against Dricus du Plessis in grappling, right? Like, he is chinny. He does get hurt with straight punches a lot. Like, he doesn't have finishing threat. Like, unless you're in round four exhausted, then yes, I could see Whittaker TKOing him. But Chimaev has two and a half rounds of pretty much no threat of being submitted or knocked out. Like, he has that time to try and finish Robert Whittaker, and I think he's good enough to do that. Plus, he's been improving his cardio. We've seen him training at elevation with his old team. I think everything's coming together for Chimaev. I think he's going to win this one by TKO, and people are going to get back on the train. But yeah, that's my prediction. Main event. Obviously, you guys know I dropped the video yesterday. I'm picking Max Holloway to win this fight by decision. I'm not going to yap about it again because I already dropped the video on it, so go watch that. But I just think Holloway's more versatile. He's hard to take down and hold down. I think that's going to be a thing that Topuria looks for late, because when it comes to the pure striking, Max Holloway's defense has improved. He has similar defensive numbers to Topuria, but higher output, higher accuracy. He can eat big shots better than Volkanovski can. He doesn't put himself up against the fence as much as Volkanovski did in that fight. He's not coming off a knockout loss. He's not going to be fighting in this weird middle range where he wants to be high output, but he doesn't want to get chinned because he's worried about it. He isn't worried about it. Like, that's just how he fights, dude. And if he does get tagged, he is good at fighting longer range and taking, a more cautious approach, as we saw against TKZ, as we saw against Justin Gaethje. And even when they are in close, he is a really good boxer in the pocket. Like, he is a very good boxer Uses the knees up the middle really good as well. Spinning back kick's going to be there. His frame really means that I think it's going to be easy for him to throw up head kicks, knees to the chin, body kicks, even just long punches down the middle. I think these are all things that Max Holloway does really well that we saw other people that aren't as good at them use against Topuria. And when it comes to Volkanovski, yes, he is better than Max Holloway. He's quicker than Max Holloway, but Max Holloway is way more durable. He's going to weaponize his pace a lot better because of that fact. Like, in the back of his mind, he's like, well, I'm not... I haven't been chinned. Like, it's all good. I'm going to walk through this fucking guy. But he has made improvements from his losses. And they're marginal, like, little improvements, but they've made a big difference. He's sitting down on punches more. He's more defensively sound, and I think that's going to be what wins him this fight. I think Max is going to win round 1 pretty clearly with high output. Maybe he eats a couple of big shots, but I think Max Holloway is going to have a really good first round. I can see him winning like 1, 3, and 4. That's my just weird mental prediction for this, where Topuria kind of downloads some data in round 1, lands a big shot in round 2, and we're kind of like, okay, it's 1-1. I think Max wins 3 and 4, comes on really strong as Topuria kind of slows down a little bit. But Topuria doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to gas out or quit or have a bad chin. He is really fucking good. And I think Topuria is going to win round 5 with like some big moments late in the fight. But all in all, I think he's going to get outstruck on the numbers. I think he's going to miss really big in this fight. I think he's going to get caught loading up a lot. I think Max is going to be able to find a lot more. Like, he's just more versatile, and I think he's more defensively sound, and he hits harder than a lot of people make it out to be. And yeah, I think Max Holloway is going to win this fight by decision. I think the scorecards are going to be like 48-47, maybe 49-46, but I think it'll be 48-47. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. I'm fucking excited, man. I can't wait to watch this. Let me know your predictions for this card in the comments down below, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're a fellow Aussie casual like me, man, because, bro, you know, drop a like if you've trained with fucking Whitaker down at the gym as well, mate. And, yeah, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. Have a good one, boys. I'll see you in the next video, man. Goodbye.